Hair was neat.
Can I tell them the truth?
What?
Angel. Man,
And
no.
Don't
Puff.
do that.
This was your puff. Don't lie. Angel comes up to me and goes, "You're not gonna leave me like giving me a dance."
Don't lie, it was true.
Hey people, welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Volney Morgan.
And I'm Angel Morgan.
You okay? And we're going to be talking about a couple of things. We're going to throw a couple of questions at each other. Okay. And again, you're in our front room, man.
Ready.
Let's go for it.
What did you think when you first saw me?
What did I think when I first saw you? Or what did I think when I first saw you, or what did I think when we first met?
When we first met?
Because when I met Angel at secondary school. So you was just
a tomboy.
Another person, to be honest.
Fair.
When we got to know each other, or when we started talking, it was cool. Like this was my home skillet biscuit. Like this was one of the man there. Like she was my homeboy. She done my hair, but she was like one of my boys. Like, you know those people that you have that is genuinely friend zone, but it's in a good way, in like in a friendship way, like we're like genuine friends. It wasn't. She wasn't like that. You know, at school, secondary school, like there was those that
You're not gonna do me like that. You're not gonna do me like that.
Came to
answer the question.
They came to school to learn.
Yeah,
but they looked like they was loved. There was those that was sent to school for an education. That was you. Anyway. So what did I first think? My first thoughts about you was cool. You was cool person to get to know. We got along really well because we was friends, and finding out that you was a pastor's child, a PK.
I was filled with the Holy Ghost.
No, you wasn't.
Yes, I was.
She saw like a
trooper.
Sailor,
but I was filled with the Holy Ghost.
And you know what the deepest thing was? And this is what kind of platform it is. Like, we're gonna just be real. We would go into deep conversations about the Bible, about Bible, about scripture. This is in secondary school, and then like an F-bomb would just come out of nowhere. Not while talking about the scripture or Bible, but like randomly.
Normal conversation.
Like normal. I'd be like, yo,
I don't know.
I thought you was filled with the Holy Ghost.
I am.
She wasn't filled. She was filled with something else. Anyway, so she was cool. So my first kind of
those are your first
thoughts of you was cool. You was cool. So what was your first thoughts about me?
Well, I thought he was sexy, life.
They all thought I was sexy, to be honest.
My first thought was, why are these girls fighting over this skinny boy?
Because I was sexy.
No, he was funny.
I was fine.
And he was skinny.
Don't pull up the old pictures now.
And he had cornrow that did not quite...
Whoa.
I didn't understand it.
Listen, it was in its process.
No, you've been growing your hair for 3 years and it still didn't reach down there.
No, don't do me like that.
It was like just a quiff.
Don't do me like that. Nah, don't do me like that. You know what it was? Because you wasn't braiding it right.
No, he had someone braiding it before me. And because I have those magic hands, I am a hairdresser. Bless the Lord.
Because she has those juju hands.
Don't do that. His hair grew. Okay. And then I advised him to cut it so that he would look like a sensible young man. And he did. Can
you stick with the question? What did you think about me when you first met?
Yeah, that was my thought. Why are these girls fighting over him? I thought he was a nice guy.
But we was like friends. Like we then became friends. So that's all it was.
But my first thoughts weren't anything other than that.
Okay, next question.
I thought you were a funny guy though.
Next question.
Here, did you go for your type? Because obviously we then got together. So did you go for your type?
Not in a million years.
Oh wow, thanks.
No offense to you. I didn't.
Okay.
Like, I was very much the kind of pretty girl. And I know you don't look at her now, But back then, no, be real, be honest. As God is your witness.
I was cute. Okay.
Cute which part?
No.
Okay, go on. Explain.
I was cute. Okay.
In the eyes of who?
No.
Your mother and your father.
No.
That's what you.
No. I went to school to get an education. I wasn't there trying to do makeup and lashes and do up my hair. Okay. So my hair was neat.
Can I tell them the truth?
What?
Angel would come to school, yeah.
I had a puff.
Remember? No. Puff.
Don't do that.
This was your puff. Don't lie. This is, you know when they come and they put the band in.
Nah, you're not gonna mug me. Nah, I had a full throw. Let's not do that.
It reached in one. It reached in one. Eventually, it reached in one. Anyway, no, I'm moving on. So wait, hold on.
Yeah.
So
you didn't go for your type?
I didn't go for my type.
Because what was your type back then?
Because my you know, like the trendy
Light
girl.
skin, long hair.
Yeah.
Potentially weave.
No, don't do that.
Extensions.
I love the natural.
Relaxer. Okay then.
Anyway, but still, it was theirs.
Fair. Fair. Okay.
Okay. So yeah. So I was but we was young. We was young. We was in secondary school. So this was like way before.
End of secondary school, by the way.
Anyway, so
Year 11.
But she wasn't my type. Let me tell you why she wasn't my type.
Because I love the Lord and I read my books.
No, the devil is a lie. She wore baggy clothes.
Yeah.
Like baggy jeans.
Yeah.
You had a backpack that was bigger than you.
Yeah.
You had braces.
I was a typical Nigerian
Hold
kid,
on.
okay? And I came from a church that said holiness was right, okay? And that meant in everyday wear.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
I will not jewelry.
Should we just quickly just drop what you looked what you looked like for prom? We won't put up no pictures, but we will just put it in the minds and the hearts of the people.
I look fly for prom, don't do that.
You look fly for prom.
Yeah.
She looked like a missionary at prom. I lie not to you. She looked like a missionary at prom. Genuine missionary. Like, you know the ones that comes with the church hat. I'm sure your outfit had a hat to it, but you didn't wear the hat. That's the only thing. She came with a dress, a flowery pink dress, yeah? And then she had a shawl. Ladies, you know the shawl. She had a she had a shawl. And watch this. We was leaving. I was leaving, right? I was leaving. And then watch this. Angel comes up to me and goes, "You're not gonna leave without giving me a dance."
Don't lie on me.
Tell the truth. She goes, "You're not gonna leave without giving me a dance."
You're not gonna lie on me like
and
that.
I was like, okay. But no, that was the truth. Tell a lie. And she had the church shoes and everything. You just know it was her Sunday best. But you know what can we do when we're true to who we are? PK, you wore what you wore. I love you. You know what I'm saying? We got married in the end. Anyway, so you wasn't my type, but
I am the type now. Bless the Lord.
But we'll go into that probably another episode or somewhere else. Yeah. But that was the question. Cool. So yeah, go on. So, was I your type?
No. And it wasn't his personality. He was an amazing friend. You're basically my best friend by the end of your life.
Thank you.
But
I was your only friend.
Nah, don't do that. Let's not do that.
Okay, go on.
Let's not do that. Let's not stretch it.
Go on.
He was Jamaican.
Okay.
I'm Nigerian. Just anybody who's Nigerian.
Shout out to all my Jamaicans out there, changing the world one by one.
Jamaicans are coming and stealing Nigerian women. Nonsense.
We are getting to the motherland.
Nonsense.
We have come to the mountain.
Can you use me as a ticket as a way into the continent? Don't do that. Anyway. It was Jamaican. It just, no. Okay. My parents, just, no. So I wasn't even looking at him. Okay. And he wasn't a doctor. Every Nigerian knows. He wasn't a doctor. He wasn't a lawyer. He wasn't an engineer. He wasn't an architect. That was not any.
I was saved. And I was only in year 11. Why are you looking for so much from me?
It doesn't matter.
You're trying to make me a banker at the age of what? 16?
I
what?
need to know your future goals. And once none of those things were on his list, it was just like, you're cool, but no. Okay.
Wickedness and mad man.
Okay.
Anyway,
next. It wasn't my type. And plus,
go on.
I was married to my books. So I technically didn't actually have a type. There were no boys that I was looking at.
True.
So
true.
If you went a book, you weren't my type.
She was into her education. Education. She was in there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's it. You're my type now. Because you're a hot thing now, obviously. You know, a good woman will do that for you. Bless the Lord. Okay, moving on swiftly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, next question.
Okay, what was your one fear going into marriage?
Okay.
We came over the not being each other's type, so obviously we're not together.
So I think my one fear going into marriage, and don't get me wrong, I was sure when I was going into marriage, and when I proposed and we got engaged and everything, I was very much sure we knew each other for how long before we got engaged, let alone married. I think my one fear was just cultures coming together. I think that was my one fear. It was just like, how does like my family and your family come together? Because I'm very much family. I'm a family guy. So I think that was one of the big things. And obviously in your head you have this whole, you bring a girl home that's Jamaican and everybody knows, and you know, you sharing the same things. And I think this was kind of, it wasn't a hurdle. I just was kind of curious of how the dynamics was going to work. And obviously both of us being in the church, I think that was a very big thing, and that kind of broke down a lot of mountains with cultures and stuff like that. So it was like literally, look, I love the Lord, she loves the Lord. Mum, this is my wife. I think I think that was my one fear. It was just the cultures, not that we couldn't get married, but the cultures coming together, because at the end of the day we're gonna have a child together. We're gonna live long lives. Unfortunately, not fortunately, but that was, I think that was my main thing. I'll put that question out to you. What was the question again?
My one fear going into marriage.
Yeah. What was your one fear going into marriage?
I don't actually remember now. It was so far back. Probably the culture thing actually. Yeah, actually it was the culture thing, because I remember it being a big thing when I spoke to my parents, saying that this is the person I wanted to marry. When we were still dating.
Do you want to tell them what your parents said about me? They love me now, but tell them what they first said.
They said no.
No. Tell them how they said no.
No, don't do that.
You will not marry this Jamo boy. No, go on. No, tell him.
You're not gonna put my parents
This is the platform to let them know.
No,
you don't want to hear the real stuff.
No.
And, like behind the scenes, the real stuff. Because I think there's people out there that's genuinely either going through it, they're scared of like what the outcome can be. But I feel like this being real as we are, it will help you. It will bless you.
Basically wants to put me out there, so fair enough. So I went and spoke to my mum, forgetting that my mum has no secrets from my dad. Basically, mum's a snitch, yeah?
They are one.
You don't tell
they're
me.
not snitches.
Nah, she's
they're one.
Nah,
okay,
because I told her this is who I was dating. And she's like, oh, God told me I had the voice, Volney. And obviously, Volney is not a name that's a common name like John or Paul or something. So I was like, oh, it must have been God that told you, innit? And she was like, oh, that's good. So mum was backing me all the way until, and I said, okay, don't tell daddy. Let me tell him. Just give me like a few days. This was Sunday after church. I told her within an hour, all I had was, Ife. So my Nigerian name is Ife, yeah. But obviously he calls me Angel. That's why everyone calls me Angel now. And I was like, yes, daddy. So I went to him and he was like, what is this that I hear? You have boyfriend? I was like, and my mum, like, she stood there and walked out the room. I said she wasn't the one that snitched. I was so confused. And she was like, you're like, tell me about this boy. I sent you to school. You're having boyfriend. I was like, yeah, but daddy, like, I'm 18 now. Well, I was almost 18.
You're about 17.
Yeah, no, but I didn't tell him to.
Oh, okay, cool.
That's another thing.
Okay.
I didn't tell him. You don't have boyfriends. You don't.
Yeah.
You're supposed to just get married.
That's true.
There's no boyfriend involved.
Let's talk about, that's actually a good topic to touch on. Anyway,
there's no boyfriend involved. So, I explained to my dad who this boy was. He had met Volney already. He liked Volney as a person.
Just not for her daughter.
He prayed for Volney. When at our leaving assembly for secondary school, I was like, oh, God is going to use you.
Yeah, he did.
You're going to touch the world.
He spoke into my life.
Yeah.
Didn't know that I was going to take his daughter, though.
Exactly. Then as soon as it came to him, he was like, nah. I was like, oh, sorry. And he was like, I forbid you to see that boy. I was like, oh, man.
Forbid.
And I was like, okay, cool. Because I'm a daddy's girl, so everything daddy says is law. So I was like, okay, fine. Then I didn't break up with him because I was like, nah.
Disobedience.
I love this boy. So
Disobedience.
it's just not going to happen. So I told my sister, no, my sister went through my phone and found out.
Fast. That
I was dating.
Can we go through your phone?
Right. And she was like, you're dating Volney. He's nice, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, fast forward 3 or so years. I think so, 3 or so years. My dad was like, oh, I still feel like you're talking to this boy. I was like, yeah, daddy, you know that. We haven't spoken about it, but you know that I'm still dating this boy. And he was like, but what did I tell you? You know, we don't know about their culture and blah, blah, blah. Obviously, big thing about culture. And I was like, yeah, but I love him and you know that he's saved and he loves the Lord. And my dad was like, okay, so it was like a random time of night and we had like this big conversation about how I had prayed about it, how we had fasted. Because before we even got together, when he asked me out, I said to him, okay, cool.
What's my intentions?
Yeah, exactly. And you go pray about it and I'll go pray about it and then we'll see what God says. And if he says yes, then we can start to date. Because I'm not doing this full thing of dating people and it's not going anywhere. He was my first boyfriend. And I said to God, my first boyfriend would be my first husband. Here we go.
You spoke it in the air.
Yeah, come on. I was, 16? Hey. And I was telling boys, go pray about it. Because, my chest was high. But because
in saying that, I think for those people that say...
I set a standard.
For those people that say, do you pray about your partner? And you should just someone will come and someone will just, he that findeth a wife. Yeah. But there's also steps, we believe, to this thing. It's not just someone finds you, that's it, like let's go. I feel like there's definitely prayer that needs to be put in place.
Don't get it twisted. Just because we prayed doesn't mean that we didn't have hurdles and stuff come in between. There's a whole thing. We broke up for a year and a bit and I was like, oh God, but what you said, it was a whole thing.
It was a testing. It was a testing season when I think you went to uni.
Yes.
And uni was Oxbridge, right?
Yeah.
And
not Oxbridge. I didn't go to Oxford.
Yeah. So no, just speak it. Just let them believe what they want to believe.
But I went Brunel, so it wasn't that far out of London.
Oh yeah, that's very different. But yeah, there was definitely hurdles. So never think that when you see people that there wasn't hurdles. There was, as Angel said, that there was a year. It could have been even a year and a bit where. Like we were still close, we were still friends.
Through all of it, we were still boys because our relationship started on friendship. Yeah. So we were always boys. He always spoke to me about, in that year, he spoke to me about people he liked, even asking my permission, like if it was cool with me.
It was mad.
It was actually quite mad.
Can you imagine that? Me going and asking. But that's what I say about friendships. Yeah. Like I tell people this about friendships all the time. You should never ever. Your foundation should never ever be relationship. Yeah. Your foundation should always be friendship, because at the end of the day, friends come together and they want nothing but the best for each other. And that's even if two people are not going to be a part of each other's life like that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're genuinely someone's friend, you genuinely want the best for them. If you're in a relationship, you now are becoming involved with that person, and then whatsoever's part of their life is a part of your life. So there's sacrifices that need to be made. So some people's not ready for sacrifices yet. So that's why I would say for people that's like rushing to get into certain things, some people ain't even ready for sacrifices. That's why hearts are being broken, people being vexed, people cutting people off. And it's not even that they might have not been for you. It's maybe because they wasn't ready for sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? They wasn't ready to give certain things up. But at the time, there should always be a place where you build your friendship first. Because at the end of the day, when there was time, as our relationship we called it a day on our relationship, it was our friendship that carried us through. So when it came to that final step where it's like, okay, do we move back into that sacrifice zone of relationship.
Even then, we prayed about it again. Just to be like, God, are we moving on emotion because we stayed friends, or is it something that you still want for us? So, and God, obviously, because we're still here, said yes. So I think the question was the fear going into marriage.
Yeah, fear going into marriage, but that can show you kind of the leader. Fear going into marriage. So I think
that, and then that, a huge part of that other fear was the cultural difference, and that I think that caused quite a few arguments. But we don't really argue, we just have a discussion, a heated discussion, and then we walk away, take our time, go to our corners, and then come back and talk about it, because we don't believe in having these shouting matches. They make no sense. No one's going to get hurt. People's feelings will get hurt. You'll say things in the moment that you don't necessarily mean. So have your discussion, think your points through. If you're not in a space to think about it, just be like, cool, I just need a minute, just leave me, let me just go do what I need to do.
And again, it comes back to that sacrifice. It's knowing that, okay, if we're going into this thing, what are we willing to sacrifice? Because we came to certain things where it was like, cool, we're going to do this or we're going to do that, which I know in more episodes we'll go and talk about later. But there was so much that we had to discuss. And again, it was a sacrifice. And that's why I say, if people are not willing to sacrifice certain things and come to a common ground with each other, then there's certain things you have to kind of question. Okay, are we on the last question, or
I think that ran into the last question.
Okay, what was the last?
How do we deal with cultural differences?
How do we deal with cultural differences? It's a good one. You start on this one.
So we come from two very strong cultures.
Yes.
As you may have already gathered.
Yes.
I am Nigerian. I am Yoruba. It's one of the largest tribes in Nigeria, and they are strong-willed people, stubborn people. And
wow.
Yes. And he is from the Caribbean. He is from
the beautiful Isles
of Jamaica.
Jamaica. Hallelujah.
And they are also a stubborn people. Okay.
Yes, we are a stubborn generation.
They are also very stubborn.
I don't think we're stubborn. I just feel we're very strong-willed.
Another word for stubborn.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there we go. So I think amongst ourselves, I think we're pretty cool. We're pretty casual. There's nothing, because we're both born here, we're quite westernized in that sense. So nothing is really a big deal. I think the major big deal, like we said earlier, was just the lead up to all of this, just the dating stage. But that was mainly with like my parents. I think my parents were more vocal about them not being very happy in the beginning. I think his mum.
I think mum was sly, kind of like.
Yeah, mum wasn't happy.
We will see.
But she wasn't as vocal.
I don't think it wasn't that she wasn't happy. I think.
Do you know what softened the blow? Honestly, is because I was saved. That's what.
I think that was softened the blow for any pastor's child
exactly,
or pastor.
But if I was just Nigerian, that would have been a whole different.
Maybe.
And what softened the blow for my parents was that he was saved as well.
Yeah, and
he treated.
In fact, you're actually right, because I genuinely feel like mum's perspective was kind of I don't know the culture, so it's almost like when you go into like when you think about your child marrying someone else
in such a strong culture.
Such a strong culture. You're thinking, how do we connect? How are we gonna, what are we gonna talk about? What's gonna be topics of discussions that we can, if we was two Jamaicans, we could be like, yes, and when we did pick banana, and when we did go down a town, and those ones there, or stuff like that you can kind of, I'm from this parish and you're from that parish and stuff like that, and you can kind of bounce off each other. I think when you're in two different cultures, it's kind of hard to, not even hard to bounce off each other, but it's almost like it's not common ground. So therefore, I think mum's perspective was more kind of, okay, see how it goes. And it's more like praying that it's not a stubbornness between two cultures that make a feud, but rather two cultures can come together and love each other. And I've seen that. My dad, my dad's just straight. He's straight Jamaican. My dad's Jamaican African. Like, I swear to you, I'm not lying to you. He's Jamaican African. Like, he's very much Jamaican cultured, but he loves everything regarding that kind of
West African culture.
that culture there. So yeah, it wasn't that much of a hard thing,
I
really.
think Dad was more casual with it.
Yeah. So it was just coming together and seeing how it would fit and how it would work. So yeah, I think how
we deal with it now is our parents love each other, actually.
Yeah.
The only thing that's really weird is that they don't call each other by their first name, because they're
Very
both
weird.
pastors. So
they call each other mum.
Mum, yeah. And dad.
Yeah.
It's really weird, but I guess it's a respect thing, because they don't want to call each other their first names, and they don't want to use titles either. So they just say mum and dad.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, if that works for you guys, then fair.
Yeah. So
But
that we deal with it well, man. And again, it's
one thing that was really cool, actually, was because obviously a naming ceremony is huge for Nigerians, and technically the whole thing is you're supposed to like name the child 8 days after they're born. We didn't do that.
How long after did we?
2 months, I think.
2 months. Cause
yeah, there was a lot going on, and I had a whole natural childbirth and used no drugs, and I was just like, I can't be gathering a whole party in 8 days. But they were really cool about it.
Yeah.
So, but we still did the 2. We did the Nigerian one, and we did like just the traditional church one,
which was like a christening for us,
christening.
baby's blessing.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
So that was really good. So I think that was the only thing that could cause a rift that didn't. The wedding was cool because it was just the white wedding. The tailor messed up my Nigerian clothes. I was so upset I couldn't change my outfit. It still hurts.
You couldn't change your outfit.
You can't fit in yours. If anyone's seen my dad, right? My dad is just a little bit taller than me, and the clothes are made for my dad.
Long sleeve, yeah. And I was excited because I was like, you know what? This is a part of the culture I want to embrace. Like, I want to drop the long line. You know what I'm saying? I want to go in. Yeah. And when I say the thing came up to here, I was like...
And the trousers were high waters. It was a hot mess.
And we had the whole plan of the change. Of the outfits.
The cheek of it, our parents changed their outfits though.
Yeah, because
they had matching outfits and they changed. Yeah, so
nevertheless,
you know.
So wrapping up, what encouragement would you give someone that's single, someone that's married, and someone that's probably facing 2 different cultures, or they're thinking, like I'm kind of in the same place. Like, what should I do? What encouragement or advice would you give? Not saying that we know it all and we've done it for how long. We've done it our way, and it's worked. You know what I'm saying? We've been married 5 years, going on 6.
Okay, and the date.
And the date. The reason why this is funny is because we've done a video for a friend, and I kind of slipped up on the date, but I was thinking it was her birthday.
You almost threw away our whole marriage.
Anyway, so we're married for 5 years.
Going on 6.
Going on 6. The date is September the 19th.
Oh, okay, bless the Lord.
Excellent.
Okay,
and
lovely.
Almost forfeited my blessing because I forgot a date.
Okay.
Anyway, but yeah. So what would you?
Pray about everything. Laugh about everything. Enjoy your singleness. Enjoy that time. Don't stress about it too much. Because it's great being with somebody, but it's great just having time to yourself. Yeah. So enjoy that. And the grass isn't always greener. Not in a bad way. Yeah. Because the grass is green, but if it's not your season, the grass isn't green on the other side. So that's powerful right there. For your season.
Seasons are everything. The season that you're by yourself, or the seasons that you're getting to know who you are and you're understanding who you are as a person, and your own identity is so important, so vital, because when you're going into a relationship, remember what I said, it's all about sacrifice. It's all about knowing who you are, what you can sacrifice, and what, not what you can't sacrifice, but who you are, you know what I'm saying? So when you come together, it's more of a thing where you're building together, and it's not that you're building past things or past relationships that other people have built, but knowing that this is something that's yours, so you need to know what works for you.
And at the same time, the relationship will test you and pull out things in you that you didn't know were flaws, that you thought were okay, but then somebody else has to come and tell you that's not cool. So it's a reality check for yourself.
Yeah. So I think those are some good points. So whether single, engaged, or married, I feel like there's something you can always take from this. There's something that you could always be encouraged by, and definitely look out for these things and definitely pray. I think one thing that you must do is pray. If anything else, make sure you pray. All right. So that's us. This has been fun.
Let's talk about it.
This has been Let's Talk About It. And yeah, tune in for the next one. Peace.